Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 1 Minute Breakdowns, where we break down each and every fight in a minute or less, or at least we try to, uh, week in and week out for each and every UFC event. First and foremost, just a couple of announcements. I wanted to go ahead and thank each and every one of you guys for the constant support, and we finally hit 300 subscribers. So we're getting there. Road to 500, and then road to 1,000. We'll be there surely in no time, especially with the NFL season coming up. We're going to be bringing back the NFL bell, so I'm really excited about that. We just had a killer night in the PFL. Swept the card, plus 5.05 units on the night. Going into tomorrow, I'm really excited and really happy with the way the handicapping has been going lately. A lot more of a process. So just overall. There we go. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe on the video. It helps out with the algorithm a lot. And then as we break down these fights, please leave a comment and let me know what your prediction for each fight is. Curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. And yeah, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. First up, we have Ode Osborne going up against Asu Almabayev. Asu Almabayev is going to be the favorite, around minus 190 right now. He's going to be the younger fighter by 2 years, the shorter fighter by 2 inches, and they don't have his reach listed on Topology, so can't go off anything there. Asul Almabayev making his UFC debut here, more primarily known to be a grappler, does hunt the submissions really well. He's good with his control grappling and wrestling. And then on the other hand, we have Ode Osborne, who is a phenomenal striker, knows how to really measure his distance well, has some pretty long and lanky arms for the division. I think Ode Osborne is going to have the advantage when it comes to the striking. When it comes to the wrestling, it's going to be Asu Almabayev all day. But I'm not saying he's going to drown Ode with the wrestling, but I think he should have the upper hand here. I think he's going to be able to win minutes on the mat. And overall, I think Asu Almabayev wins this fight via decision. Probably a close one, 29-28 type of decision, but clear one. But yeah, give me Asu Almabayev. Shout out to my boy Fight Talk. I appreciate you. And if you guys haven't checked out Fight Talk, please check him out. He creates some great graphics for the community, and he puts in a lot of work. So I appreciate him, and shout out to him. On to the next one. We have Sean Woodson going up against his fourth opponent here, fourth replacement, and Dennis Bazookia. Sean Woodson is going to be the older fighter by 6 years. Obviously, he's going to be the taller fighter here by 4 inches. And then he is going to have a hellacious 8.5-inch reach advantage. At featherweight, you just do not see these kind of numbers when it comes to tail of the tape. And with the archetype of fighter that Sean Woodson is, very clean and crisp boxer and kickboxer, he will put that reach advantage to use. And when you're going up against a guy on short notice, and Dennis Bazookia, who had to cut 21 pounds in 3 days, that's going to be taxing on his gas tank. He looked very, very gassed out and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? He looked very like dried up and sucked in during the weigh-ins. So I don't know how Bazookia's cardio is going to be looking here. I know he's been waiting for this UFC opportunity for quite some time, but I don't think this is a spot for him. I think Sean Woodson is going to have the ability to stay at range, keep the range, and just outpoint Dennis Bazookia. And I think just due to the bad weight cut, Woodson does have a chance of finishing Bazookia in this fight. I'm not going anywhere near this one just due to the sheer fact that it's been 4 opponent replacements and we just don't really know what to expect. Sometimes these hungry up-and-comers who come in on short notice really tend to surprise us. So I'm gonna stay away, but I'm predicting Sean Woodson to get the KO here. Shout out to my boy TMC as always. Thank you for the support, my guy. And Fight Talk, I do not believe I'm rooting for Team Longo here. I got to go against them and root for Woodson for obvious reasons. I just think the range is going to be too much, and on short notice, Woodson's going to be a little bit of a tougher matchup to deal with. But next up, Jake Hadley going up against Cody Durden. Jake Hadley is going to be the younger fighter by 5 years. He's going to be, they both have the same height, 5'7" for both fighters, and he's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage here. So we both know the archetype for both of these fighters. I mean, Cody Durden is primarily a wrestler slash grappler who can really control fights once he gets it down to the mat and is able to hold guys down when he gets the body lock. And when you're looking at Jake Hadley, in his first fight, he came out against Alan Nascimento. He didn't look his best. He accepted bottom position too much. But Jake Hadley, if you look at the regional scene, this guy has a nasty bottom game. And against a guy like Alan Nascimento, who is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu ace, it's going to be hard to execute against him. But I think in this fight, even if he gets taken down and controlled on the mat, I think Jake Hadley is going to be able to use his sweeps and to threaten Cody Durden from bottom position. On the feet, I think it's Jake Hadley all day. I think Jake Hadley could knock Durden out. And out of all of Durden's losses, they've pretty much all been by finish. So I think Jake Hadley does end up winning this one inside the distance. I think his own grappling is going to be put into effect here, and I think he's going to be able to get the sub here. So give me Jake Hadley inside the distance, but I'm predicting the submission. Thank you, my guy. It's been a long time coming for this 300 subscribers, so I'm pretty happy about that. Next up, we have Billy Q going up against Damon Jackson. Billy Q and Damon Jackson are both 34 years old. Billy Q is going to be the shorter fighter by an inch, and he's going to be at a 1-inch reach disadvantage. So Damon Jackson is going to be looking to get his wrestling going here. And he might find success in round one while fighters are still dry. But the longer this fight goes, the more I favor Billy Q. We know that Billy Q is the type of guy that really weaponizes his cardio. Going down the stretch in the second round and the third round, this guy puts on a pace against people. And he's just all up in your face. And against a guy like Damon Jackson, where we've seen his chin get cracked. I know it's been against top level guys, but the way he's been knocked out in the past, it's a little bit concerning. And just the pace that Billy is able to put on people, I think it will be a little bit too much for Damon here. Damon, friend of the show, I respect him a lot, but I do think Billy Q has the upper hand in this matchup as this fight goes on. And Damon has shown that he does slow down as the fight goes on, and that's not something you want to see when you're going up against a guy like Billy Q. So I think Billy Q is a warranted favorite in this matchup, and I think he wins this inside the distance. Shout out to my guy Plays in Fade Sports at Gordo Gambles on Twitter. One of the nicest people in the community. If you don't follow him already, which I highly doubt you don't follow this guy already. If not, please go ahead and give him a follow on Twitter at Gordo Gambles and a subscribe on YouTube. You're one of the sharpest people out there. Great DFS breakdowns if that's your thing as well. And overall long-term profitable gambler. So shout out to my guy. I appreciate you being on here. Next up, we have Jeremiah Wells going up against Carlston Harris. Jeremiah Wells and Carlston Harris are both 36 years old. Carlston Harris is going to be the taller fighter by 4 inches. He's also going to be at a 2-inch reach advantage. So breaking down this fight, it could go a couple of ways. I definitely don't think this fight is going the distance. Jeremiah Wells, we know, has that one-shot power, and he will turn off anyone's lights. I don't care what you say. Carlston Harris also carries some power. Both guys very slick with the jiu-jitsu, but I do favor Carlston Harris's chin a little bit more than Jeremiah Wells. In that last fight against Matthew Semmelsberger, I know Semmelsberger carries power, but it seemed like every punch Semmelsberger landed on Wells, it seemed like Wells was about to get knocked out, and it hurt him really bad. And at 36 years old for both fighters, it's just tough to see how you can find an edge in this one. I just think this fight is probably going to end in knockout. If there are lines for that, if it's not too over inflated, then I would hit it. But I did not find lines on Bet Online myself, so unfortunately, I'm gonna stay away here. I do predict that Carlston Harris wins just due to the sheer fact that his chin is a little bit more durable than Jeremiah Wells's. But we all know how Jeremiah Wells explodes into the pocket. So anything can happen. Don't blink. This fight is gonna be absolute fireworks. I'm looking forward to it. One of my favorite fights on the card. Let's check out the chat. As always, man, you know the respect I have for you. You're my guy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Trying to go back on this win streak, dude. It's been too much up and down. Next up, we have Raoni Barcelos going up against Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips is going to be the younger fighter here by 8 years. He's going to be the taller fighter by 1 inch, and he's going to be at 5 inch reach advantage. Um, Kyler Phillips, we haven't seen him in the octagon in about a year and 3 months, to be specific. Uh, this guy is another guy that uses his cardio as an advantage. He weaponizes his cardio. But in the third round, we do see him slow down just a little bit. Raoni Barcelos, an absolute ace wherever this fight goes. In the striking, he can hang with Kyler. In the grappling, he's probably better than Kyler here. The wrestling, I think it's pretty equal. Maybe just a slight nod to Kyler Phillips here. But my issue with Raoni is that he's getting up there in age. I know he got brutally knocked out against Umar, but that was a pretty nice setup. The way he set up the pretty much the knockout itself was the knee to the stomach and then the punch, which demolished him, caught him off guard, and those are usually what put people down the easiest. Kyler Phillips also coming off of a PED suspension. That's why we haven't seen him in a while. So we've yet to see the Kyler Phillips off PEDs, which was he was on Osterine, which is something that helped his cardio. So that could affect the way he weaponizes his game. So I am not too sure what to think. I think this fight is a dogger pass situation with full meaning of the phrase, and Kyler off PEDs is going to be an interesting one, just because of the exact compound he was using. It definitely helps out your cardio a lot. So I'm gonna go with Raoni Barcelos here. I haven't gone to the window with it yet. I'm waiting to see how he looked during weigh-ins. I mean, he definitely didn't look as jacked as usual. He looked smaller. He didn't carry as much size, and that could be just because of the PEDs. Osterine is mainly used for cardio, that combined with Cardarine, but I don't think he was on Cardarine. But Osterine also does help with a little bit of muscle size, so that could be a result of him being off of the Osterine. Next up, we have Ignacio Bahamondes going up against Ludovic Klein. Ludovic Klein is going to be the younger. Sorry, Ignacio Bahamondes is going to be the younger fighter by 3 years here. Bahamondes is also going to be at that is, if I'm doing my math correctly, that is 7 inches taller, and he'll have a 3.5 inch reach advantage here. This fight can go one of two ways, in my opinion. I think if Ludovic Klein finds success in the wrestling, he could probably drown Bahamondes and win a decision here. Or if the wrestling does not work, and Ignacio either catches him with a front choke series or just keeps us on the feet and outpoints Ludovic Klein, Bahamondes wins. I think it's as easy as that for me. I'm staying off of it just because Bahamondes is a pretty big favorite here, around minus 230 or 240 last time I checked. So I'm staying off of it. I do think Ignacio is the real deal, but I have not seen his grappling all that much. So I'm going to pass, but I think he should be fine here. Next up, we have Tanner Boser going up against Alexa Kamer. Tanner Boser still at light heavyweight. He's going to be the taller fighter by 1 inch. He's going to be the older fighter by 5 years, and he's going to be at a 1.5 inch reach advantage here. Tanner Boser, the one thing that you'll hear everyone say is that his advantage at heavyweight was that he was a lot faster than these heavyweights with the hand speed. And I think this drop to light heavyweight puts him a lot more like on the equal, like on a fair standpoint when it comes to striking speed with these light heavyweights. So there goes his biggest advantage. And then when you look at Alexa Kamor, a guy that's been on back-to-back losses, has not really panned out the way the UFC thought he would, and has been absent. I believe it's been longer than a year since 2 years since we've seen him against Nikolai Negumereanu. This is a tough one. I mean, to me, this is a fight where you go to the kitchen and make yourself a sandwich, grab yourself a drink, because it's going to be a very sloppy fight, in my opinion. I do think Bozer might be able to find some takedowns here. Uh, so I'm leaning towards the Bozer side, but I'm definitely not putting my money anywhere near this fight. But for the sake of my friend Gordo Gambles, go Canada. Next up, we have Gavin Tucker going up against Diego Lopez, and I think this fight has been the Twitter war of the week. Gavin Tucker is going to be the older fighter by 9 years. He's going to be the shorter fighter by 5 inches, and he's going to be at a 6-inch reach disadvantage. Diego Lopez was the kid that, well, I shouldn't be saying kid. He's older than me. He's a guy that went up against Movsar Evloev last time out and almost subbed him a couple of times and really looked well in the striking. He has a lot of power, really throws almost 100% into everything. Looks like he wants to throw everything with fight-ending intention. And on the ground, this guy is a jiu-jitsu ace. I mean, we saw the type of submissions that he was getting Mosar into, and that alone impressed me. And then you look across the pond with Gavin Tucker, a guy coming off of major reconstruction surgeries, and it's been, I believe, also longer than a year, 2 years since he's been in the octagon. And a loss to Dan Ige, which no shame in that. Gavin Tucker usually, the way he wins his fights is he gets hurt, but then he comes back and wins. And his chin, I think, at this point, at 37 years old, might be a little bit too fragile for my liking. I think Diego Lopez is going to be able to find the button here and either club and sub him or just knock him out clean. He's much bigger than Gavin Tucker. But if this was Gavin Tucker 5 years ago, a little bit younger, a little bit less miles on the chin, I would have definitely been betting Gavin Tucker at this price. But yeah, I think Diego Lopez wins inside the distance here and gets his first UFC victory. But the price is a little bit too expensive for my liking right now, around -180 to -190. But yeah, prediction, Diego Lopez inside the distance, probably club and sub. Next up, we have Kennedy Nzechukwu going up against Dustin Jacoby. And before I start this breakdown, the biggest pet peeve I had this week was people pronouncing Nzechukwu as Nchukwi. They're two different fighters, ladies and gentlemen. So get it right. Nchukwi is one fighter, and Nzechukwu is one fighter. Not same. Same? No same. So let's get back to this fight. Nzechukwu is going to be the younger fighter by 4 years. He's going to be taller by 2 inches, and he's going to have a 7-inch reach advantage in this fight. Dustin Jacoby, one thing I've noticed in the tape over the past 2 fights specifically, the guy doesn't throw leg kicks anymore. The leg kicks were one of his main weapons. He used to chop down people's legs and really slow them down, and that's where he would start to pour on the volume. But in the last 2, we haven't really seen him lean onto those leg kicks, which is quite a concern. With him getting up there in age at 35, he looks a little bit slower, especially in that last fight against Azamat where he got pieced up, almost knocked out. I just couldn't really I wasn't impressed, to say the least. Again, and especially against Azamat, a guy that we've known to see as a gasser. He just couldn't really gas him out. And Nzechukwu has really impressed me with the way that he's been improving his skill set. He's been adding the wrestling chops to it, and his choke series, his front choke series, is legit. His ninja choke last time out was really impressive, and I think the range is going to serve him well in the striking. I think he's going to be able to keep Jacoby at bay, and with his own kicks, he might be able to chop Jacoby's legs off. So I think Nzechukwu moneyline is at a valid price point right here. I think there is some value around the -150. So I predict Kennedy and Nzechukwu in this fight, most likely by decision, if not a submission. Next up, we have our co-main event between Jessica Andrade going up against Tatiana Suarez, who's making her way back to strawweight. Jessica Andrade is going to be the shorter fighter by 4 inches. She's going to be the fighter with a 4 inch reach disadvantage, and she's the younger fighter by a year. So we know Tatiana Suarez is the female Khabib, and Jessica Andrade has that one shot knockout power. Tatiana Suarez in the striking realm didn't really impress me all that much in the last fight, but she was off of a 3.5 year layoff, so you kind of have to cut her some slack there. There was a lot of rust. Andrade, on the other hand, looked pretty bad against Erin Blanchfield, but it's Erin Blanchfield, another grappling ace, but she's running into the same archetype of fighter here. Tatiana Suarez is, like I said, the female Khabib. No joke. You can ask anybody. That's her nickname. She's probably going to be able to land takedowns here at will against Jessica. And I think on the mat, it's just levels, is all I'm going to say. Tatiana Suarez by submission is my official prediction for this fight. Last but not least, we have the main event of the evening, Corey Sandhagen going up against Rob Font. Corey Sandhagen is going to be the younger fighter by 5 years. He's going to be the taller fighter by 3 inches, and surprisingly, is going to be at a 1.5 inch reach disadvantage here. Rob Font coming in on short notice. Originally, this was supposed to be Corey against Umar Nurmagomedov, but Umar had to pull out along with a couple of the other Dagestani fighters. Maybe they all had some sort of sickness or illness. I'm not sure. But a lot of people are going to say Corey has never faced someone with an effective jab like Rob Fonts. And I agree. He has not. But I think Corey Sandhagen poses a significant threat on the feet just because it's not like Rob Font is levels ahead of Corey Sandhagen. I think it's very equal on the feet. And the one thing that Corey can do that Rob Font can't is land some takedowns and win some minutes on the mat. We saw him use it against Chito Vera very effectively, and he almost had a couple of submission attempts there too that were deep. One thing that's concerning about Rob Font is that his durability is slowly declining, and it seems like every fight he's breaking his orbital bone. Even in that last one against Yanez, where he looked amazing, still got injured, and I believe he still fractured the orbital bone just a little bit. So that's a big concern. He just hurts his eye a lot. Anytime he gets touched, he just seems to get wobbled. So I think Corey's a rightful favorite here. I think the under 4.5 rounds is a sharp look this week. I think Corey gets this done inside the distance more often than not. So I do prefer him as a parlay piece. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was the last fight on this card. Let's see these comments. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section before we end the show. But thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate it. Thoughts on the Suarez sub in round 2, giving Jessica holds it down for the first time. Here's the thing. If you're playing sub round 2, you got to play sub round 1 in this spot, because Tatiana is going to be at such a big advantage when it comes to the wrestling and the grappling that I think she can get it done in round 1. What is the number is the real question. Let me pull it up right here because I'm curious. I don't think it's going to be a huge number at all, because that's her main path to victory here, and I'm pretty sure odds makers know that. But here it is. Let's see. Tatiana Suarez by round 1 submission. Yeah, plus 300. I mean, you got to at least play that for half a unit, depending on how much you're putting on the round 2. If you're putting 0.25 on the round 2, then just put 0.25 on round 1 as well, at least to cover, or a little bit less to just break even in case the round 1 does hit. But yeah, I think it's round 1 or round 2. I don't think it extends to round 3, personally. But yeah, Tatiana Suarez by sub is plus 115. That shows you how much the bookies favor the submission line, and I agree with it. I mean, I don't think it's wrong. But yeah, I'm really excited for tomorrow's card. There's a lot of good fights, a lot of high profile and big name fighters. Yeah, Sandhagen all day, baby. It's Corey season. But once again, guys, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe if you haven't. Appreciate you all for showing up. My guy Easy, ready to check out of the show, but hopefully you get to watch the rerun. Thoughts on my countryman Jesus Pinedo upsetting the PFL once again. That man is a problem. Back-to-back upsets of last year's championship bout in the featherweight division for the PFL. I can't say that I didn't expect it. There was a reason why I shied away from including Bubba Jenkins in any of my parlays. I mentioned to probably more than 5 to 10 people yesterday and throughout the week that I'm betting on Pinedo inside the distance. Unfortunately, I didn't have it tracked, but I do have the tickets to prove it. But yeah, I do want to give a shout out to Jesus Pinedo. He's been someone that's also supported me throughout my media career and has always liked my stuff. So shout out to him and congrats on the big win. This guy is a force to be reckoned with at featherweight, and with his slick boxing style, it's going to be a problem for a lot of people that are takedown reliant. And in this finals matchup, we get the second showing of Braga versus Pinedo. For those that didn't know, Braga and Pinedo faced off against each other in the first matchup of the season, April 3rd. I was there, Las Vegas, and it was an absolute war. Gabriel Braga won by split decision. I think either way the judges scored that fight would have been correct, because I wouldn't have been mad. Both fighters went out there and put on an absolute war. And just to be able to get the opportunity to watch a rerun of that fight, no one fight is going to equal the second, or no one. Let me word this better. If Jesus Pinedo versus Gabriel Braga existed before, the same repetition is not going to be. It's not going to equal itself. There's going to be a different outcome. It's not going to be as close, or it's going to be end inside the distance. Who knows? But it's going to be an absolute war again, and I am here for it. I was telling my brother, I'm like, the script. They want Braga and Pinedo to fight each other in the finals again. And I'm like, I see it. And then Braga won, and I'm like, okay, the script is in. They want it. And Pinedo goes out there, does his thing. Unfortunately, Bubba Jenkins out of the playoffs, someone that I really loved watching and really loved interacting with on the mic. But the fight game is not an easy one, as we've learned so far and throughout our time enjoying it. And these outcomes just continue to surprise us time and time again. But we're all just blessed to be able to exist in such a time period where the fight game is evolving at such a high rate. And I'm just excited for the future, and I'm excited to be at the playoffs in New York for the Shane Burgos and Clay Collard fight, doing media there, and then also hopefully for the finals wherever they have it. So watch out for some content coming from the media room from myself in New York. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. This is going to be a really good one. Also, first time in New York, so I can't complain. There you go. Yes, sir. Posted on X, not Twitter. Posted it on X. I love it. Good stuff, man. $5 to hit 400. What a freaking win. It looks like a lot of us had a good day today in the PFL. And it's right in time for UFC. They covered our UFC bets. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. I appreciate the support and the interaction as always. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Twitter. I will always reply, always. So yeah, looking forward to it, and good luck tomorrow. Let's go ahead and cash some tickets.